Direct and absorption costing. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare an income statement using either direct or absorption costing methods. When applying direct costing methods, we consider only variable expenses or variable costs in calculating your cost per unit, while with absorption costing, we absorb fixed production cost into product cost. The learning outcomes and assessment criteria will take the form of preparing an income statement or statement of comprehensive income using direct costing or using absorption costing method. How does the two methods differ? Direct costing, as I said, we consider variable costs, while with absorption costing, we bring in our fixed cost. Therefore, this will be the requirements. Number one, when you are using direct costing, you will have to calculate cost per unit using direct costing method, where you will consider three costs which are variable, which will be your direct material, your direct labor, and your variable production overheads per unit. Once you have your cost per unit, then you will have to calculate the number of units sold or produced before you can prepare an income statement. Number one, you will have to identify your opening units, add your production, less your closing, then you get sales volume. But sometimes you will be given opening and production and sales, which means you will still have to determine the value of the closing, which will simply be your opening plus your production less your sales, then you get your closing. Then lastly, you must prepare the income statement. This is the format that you will be using. Number one, sales. You less all your variable expenses, both production and non-production. You start with your production, which will be your opening inventory plus production. Then you have all you available for sales or for production. Then you less your closing inventory. You get your total variable production cost. Then you add your variable non-manufacturing cost. Then all in all will give you your variable expenses. You less them from sales, then you get contribution. Then you less your fixed production expenses. Then eventually you get your profit or loss. Absorption costing. First, you have to calculate cost per unit, which will be in the form of the four: direct material cost, direct labor cost, variable production, and fixed production cost per unit. And remember, your fixed production overheads will be absorbed. So we have to be able to know what is absorption rate. We have to be able to know what is absorption rate, which will be calculated by saying estimated manufacturing overheads divided by your cost driver. Your cost driver can either be direct material cost, direct labor cost, direct labor hours, machine hours, or prime cost, or machine hours. So you have to calculate POR, multiply your actual cost driver, then you get your absorbed overheads, then you bring them into your cost. Then from there, you have to determine how many units produced or sold, then calculate your over or under applied. This is the formula that you'll use. Predetermined overhead rate multiplied by your cost driver is equal to applied overheads. So your actual overheads incurred less applied, over or under applied. Then later you prepare the income statement. Then your income statement will take this form. So in this case, we are not going to focus on how to reconcile the two statements.